Yep. And if you're still using a CRT monitor, make sure to just rub it all up on there.
Yeah. Yeah, if you've heard of defragging, that's the act
That's-
of rubbing a magnet all over your hard drive.
Mhm.
You know, you don't really have to do that now because they do it
Get all the
themselves.
metal fragment. Get all the metal fragments out of your hard drive.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But seriously, have you ever run a magnet over a CRT monitor?
Oh yeah. It's not good.
No, but it looks real cool.
Mm-hmm.
You can say I have, and now I kind of want to Google it.
Go to Evo. And do it to Smash players.
That's the biggest asshole move.
But yeah, like it like makes everything around it go all rainbowy and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh.
And then it never goes back.
Oh, okay. Because
That's the problem.
I'm not planning on it, but I've occasionally weighed the idea of getting a CRT TV so that I could play like retro consoles.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so I need to know that not to do that.
Yeah.
We'll see. I don't know if I'm going to because I don't want to deal with the whole deal with it. But
Yeah. If I ever stumbled upon one of those like really sweet security monitors that are like the best for CRT gaming, I would totally get one, but would have to be a really good price.
yeah, I don't want to pay for it, and I don't want to deal with it in my apartment, especially since I know that they can be heavy, and I don't have an elevator in my apartment building, so I'd have to haul it up 3 flights of stairs.
Yeah, yeah. Those monitors are nice because they're not like massive, and they're heavy, but they're not like that heavy. They're no heavier than, I don't know.
Like a regular
Carrying
TV?
Oh, they're even less heavy than a regular big TV because they're smaller, and they have
Right.
handles on the top.
Oh, sweet.
Like a GameCube.
Yeah.
Yeah, because of course, I love the
One
GameCube so
fan.
much.
GameCube, but a CRT.
I love the dumb GameCube handle.
It makes no sense, and I love it too.
Every time Nintendo does something like that, they're like, "We're gonna make this console a cube, and it has a handle." And I'm just like, that's why I love Nintendo.
Because they make
Dumb,
no
but I love
sense.
it. Yes,
Yeah, I agree.
they're willing to be like, let's just make no sense and do what we want. And I'm like, I can appreciate that.
Is Pat? What is Pat talking about? I was looking at the YouTube thing.
Huh?
What do you bring in this week? I only see 4 games.
Oh, yeah, I didn't put
and
it
2
on
are added by
YouTube.
Alex.
Yeah, I'll fix that.
Or you can just give me a heads up, and I'll put it in there. But feel free to add it to the list.
Yeah, I'll find something. I played a bunch of stuff this week, but I did have one thing in particular.
We can have a nice conversation about Blops if you want, because they actually changed quite a bit from last time.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, we can talk about that a little bit. That's one of the things I wanted to bring up.
So I can start working on segues. It won't be any good, but
When have they ever been?
you know that one I had about Allison was talking about or was it the Splatoon expansion? And then I was like, speaking of octopuses traveling down things, and then I just totally whiffed it and went to Erica instead of talking about Octopath Traveler. That was pretty good.
Yeah, that was pretty strong.
That is pretty good.
Like it was like a good segue that was perfectly ruined, whereas Sam just does bad ones on purpose.
As low effort as they
Like,
can possibly be.
Yeah, he doesn't even like get like halfway there. I mean, normally I don't either, but that one was okay.
Living the dream. By the way, Andre, your camera intermittently just kind of stops working.
Does it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
it's kind
like
of on and
right,
off.
right now it's totally fine.
Yeah.
So weird. I think my cam link is all weird. I don't know.
Oh, you use a cam link? Yeah, those things they can be weird.
I want.
Oh, there it goes. It's frozen again.
What? What? Is it? Can you still hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Well, there's that. I don't know. Okay. Well, as long as you can hear me, that's okay. We'll deal with that other stuff later, I guess. All right. Are we started? Are we live?
Oh yeah, we've been live for 5 minutes.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good. Let me go share some stuff on the FF book.
Oh man, I just realized I got a case for my laptop finally because I feel like I'm gonna destroy it. And it came with these little soft footies, and I can put that on my Zodrushi, and you'll never hear me put that thing down again.
Ooh.
That actually seems like a good idea.
I'm gonna have to feed this dog. She's freaking out.
Oh no.
Oh no, you have to feed the dog?
I'm sorry, I wasn't knowing that. I was knowing. Oh, there we go. The adhesive didn't come off.
Do you need to take a dog food break?
I don't need to take a break. It's right behind me.
Okay.
I can hear everything.
Well, then let's get started. Hello. Wait. Give you a clean cut. What episode is this? 31? 32. Okay, good. Hello, and welcome to episode 32 of Gaming Fix on this August 11th or 12th, depending on what part of the world you're in. My name is Andre Cole, aka your girl's favorite Sega Game Gear game. Coming at you, joined by Alex Galinas.
Hey, I encourage you to check out my Dead Cells review. Totally didn't steal it.
Partially plagiarized, Allison.
Check out my review of the GameCube handle, which I did not plagiarize at all.
No, okay, well that's good. And our best boy, Pat.
I actually have reviews that I did for my professional career that I could tell you about, but I won't because then I would have to kill you, and then people would know where I work.
That order.
Well, that's very good. We're here to talk. I don't know. I don't think we'll talk about that plagiarism stuff. That's
It's a lot's been said. He got fired. Justice was served.
It keeps coming, man.
And then Colin Moriarty invited him to his podcast or whatever.
Yeah. Big surprise that dipshit wants to associate with a dipshit.
I mean, I feel like everything's already been said and done. He was fired. Yay.
But, yeah.
I mean,
more
for IGN, I guess.
More plagiarism keeps coming out. Like
Yep.
his FIFA review, and then also Metroid Samus Returns, whatever. Okay. Anyway, we're here to talk about good games, happy games. I didn't know.
And not plagiarize this live chat.
This entire conversation has actually been word for word plagiarized from another podcast.
Sorry,
but-
Waypoint.
Yeah.
Peace.
Some real similar formats.
Yeah, well, we're gonna talk about some games and hopefully not plagiarize anything. So let's hear what Alex has to say for himself this week.
Oh man, I don't know if I can defend myself in a court like this, but what I can do is talk about a video game which is in early access on Steam.
Hey.
Oh,
So-
no.
This is a video game known by the name of SpyParty, and it has been in
Ah.
early access for quite some time, but they've recently done some big updates, and it looks like it's on its way out. And if you've never seen SpyParty, the very basic version is it's basically The Sims meets Hitman. So it looks like The Sims, but you're trying to commit murder and do stuff in secret. As mentioned, early access 1v1 competitive game. So one person chooses a character in this room, which is filled with up to 25 people. The people being NPCs. So they choose one of these potential characters, and then they act as though they are an NPC among all the others. And their goal is to complete a series of tasks, stuff like place a bug on the ambassador, or replace the statue, or, random stuff. They have to get it all done. So if they can complete all their tasks within a certain time limit, then they win, and they get a little win chime like that. So...
I was totally planned to be that.
Thank you. It's
Not
a good
my
thing mine
fault.
didn't go off. It's the Tim Allen grunt. So, so the other player in the 1v1, he acts as like a sniper outside the room, and he or she only has one bullet. So they're observing the party and watching all the NPCs and trying to figure out which one of them is actually the human. And then if they figure it out, they shoot them, and then they either win or they lose. If they're right, they win. If they don't, they lose. So I would actually say it's way harder for the shooter because, dang man, those NPCs do some seemingly random crap. So it's like, oh yeah, that totally looks like something a human would do, but no, it's just NPCs being weird.
I think like the arc of like progression in that game from a skill perspective is definitely like when you first start, it seems way too hard for that spy, and then after a while, it seems way too hard for the sniper, and then eventually you realize that actually it's pretty fucking well balanced.
It is decently well balanced, and
It's just a
there's-
hard game to play for either side.
Yeah, like the nice thing is that there's some tools for the shooter. So like he's observing all these 12 to 25 people, and he can do things like, okay, it's definitely not this person, so just kind of like unhighlight them, so they're just kind of like a shadow. Or they can mark one person as being suspicious, so they can kind of follow that one in the periphery of their vision while also kind of looking at other people. So I thought that was at least helpful. One of my favorite things is that there's a way to just continually state the words banana bread over and over. So, I'm super into that. I don't know.
What's great is that it's still the original recording that he made of banana bread in like a shitty microphone.
Oh yeah, it sounds terrible. I love it.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't know. It's a really, really good game if you're playing with a friend, and it does have online matchmaking. So you can potentially meet with a rando, so you won't know anything about them or their playstyle, which is kind of cool. But unfortunately, you're really, really unlikely to find a match because the max recorded consecutive player count, I actually did research on this one, it capped at about 400. And on average, it's about 50 players, and most of those people are already playing a game with someone else. So
Yeah.
it'll be a tough time. I don't know. Overall, I think the game is really neat, but also it feels pretty slight. Like after about 5 to 10 rounds, you feel like you've done pretty much everything, and like But like the bigger problem with that is the fact that it's $25. So if this was a $10 game, it would be a pretty easy recommendation for like a party game, but for $25, it's kind of hard to recommend.
Interesting because the people who are really into that game, I wonder if there's concurrence actually takes into account. I wonder if you can still play it off Steam. So this game's been available for about 10 years.
Roughly.
I'm not exaggerating. It's been around for roughly that long. It's been in development for roughly that long. It's one developer with I think one art person now. And it only recently got the new art style. Before it looked like really, really, really polygonal, just like junk kind of characters models. And what's funny is like I haven't really played it. I doubt I've played it much more than you have, Alex. Overall, I've had access to it for a long time, but I kind of ducked in and out, and it only got matchmaking recently. For a while, it was like you had to message people to ask them to play, and I just never wanted to do that to strangers. but a lot of people who are like big defenders of it will say that it's like incredibly deep, incredibly like super high skill cap, like really, really great, like esports potential. I mean, I don't think it actually has that, but like people saying that like it's like StarCraft levels of these games could be super. And I don't mean that as like one or two people. I'm saying like that is the pitch for the game, is that it is an incredibly deep mind, like battle of wits and minds between two people. So I think it's interesting to hear that you were finding it to be kind of shallow, because I haven't played it enough to really have an opinion one way or the other. But definitely when you hear people talk about it, they talk about it in like hushed tones of like, this game is brilliant. It just, people don't get it yet or whatever.
I mean, I think it's really well made. Like, it has a feature where immediately after a round, you can watch a replay of it, and you can kind of like click through an event list of everything that's happened. Like, you can see the sniper marked this person at this minute mark, and like the spy interacted with this person at this minute mark and stuff like that. So you can like step through and see every individual thing. So if you're looking at esports potential, sure, it kind of has that there, but I feel like it does not have enough going on to be real esports though. Like, there's a grand total of like 10 different things you can do as a spy.
But then isn't like the amount of stuff to like change? Like some you have to do like 5 things, some you have to do like 3 things.
Yep.
But you have the same list that you can do like any of those things.
Sorry, what was the last thing? You were cut off there.
No, there's like a list, and you can still do any of those things, right? But I don't know.
You have to do all of them. From what is chosen of your list. Oh no, sorry, you're right. There are rounds where it's pick 3 of like 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, if that's what you mean.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah. Okay. Well, if the community really does rally behind it, then I guess my experience is slightly different. But
I mean, especially if there's only 50 people playing it concurrently right now. I haven't really followed it since it came out. That indicates that maybe that community is too far up its own ass. I don't know. I haven't really invested enough time to figure it out.
I mean, I do think that there is some potential for it. I don't know how much long lasting, certainly. And I don't think it's going to ever be like, we're going to see SpyParty at Evo or anything. But I know that I've never played it. I've always kind of balked at that $25 price tag. But I do really like watching people play it. A few months ago, the Giant Bomb Crew did a big play of it, and I was like, that was so exciting to me, because I love them, and I love watching people play SpyParty. So I think that it could be a game that has some spectator potential. I don't know if it's 100% there yet to be necessarily an e-sport, but I mean, I do enjoy watching people play it, so I think it has potential in that regard.
Totally, yeah. I think it's a well-made game. I just don't think I love it.
It's totally fair. Speaking of well-made games that you don't love, Black Ops 4?
Oh, I don't think I don't love that game. I think it's actually pretty good. Sorry, just give me a second. I'm switching our scenes. There we go. So, Pat, I know you talked about it. Or sorry, you played a bit of it this week. If I can just jump in real quick, there's some changes from last week that I thought were pretty cool. So I'll just ignore everything I said last week. And then, so Cheska and I played a bunch of it, and the 2 things that it brought are a lot of balance changes and a whole new game mode. And like, I mean, a whole new game mode to the series. And I thought it was really kind of interesting. It's called Heist, and it's kind of like a mixture of Counter-Strike and Capture the Flag. So you start each round by buying your weapons, your equipment, like armor, stuff like that. And that's based on cash that you get from the previous rounds, whether you won or you lost. And then if you die, you're dead for the round, just like Counter-Strike.
Yeah.
But the goal isn't like place bomb or whatever. The goal, which is search and destroy, sorry. The goal is to capture a flag, which is actually just like a bag of money. And then the person holding them has to bring that to an extraction zone. And then you have to hold that extraction zone for like 1 second in the early rounds, and then like 10 seconds in the later rounds. So it's actually really good. Like, I would say it's actually super fun. Though we did encounter, like, as with any online multiplayer game, some problems where our teammates would like rage quit or whatever. And then it would just be impossible because if you're in the latter rounds, they don't add new players. So if you're suddenly 3v5, it's almost impossible to win, which I found to be kind of a bummer. But I think if you
Yeah.
get 5-stack or whatever, it's super great.
I would think too that they could, if that becomes a chronic problem, they could institute a more harsh like leaving game penalties.
Yeah.
So it's like, this is gonna be your last game of the night. If you've quit 3 or 4 matches in the last 5-6 days, this is gonna be your last game for 24 hours if you quit it.
Or if they had like a ranked mode or something like that, then if there's like an MMR associated with it or whatever, then
Yeah, that
they would
could
say,
be
okay, you're automatically losing 25 MMR or whatever the case might be. So anyways, that game mode is actually really worth playing. So I think there's an open beta going on right now. So if you wanted to try it, you could get in on it.
How much of like the people leaving do you think is associated with it being a beta and like maybe connection drops or like network stuff?
It was always at the end of a round that we had lost. So
Okay.
I would say it was not connection.
Yeah. It seemed incredibly stable while I was playing it too. So
Yeah. So last week I had, let's say if I played 50 rounds, which isn't actually accurate, I probably had like 2 connection drops the entire time. This time I have yet to have a connection drop. So it's pretty stable, especially for a beta. But yeah, the other change they had was some balance changes. And like, I'm not going to get into a friggin' like list of balance changes like that's on the Nintendo Direct a month or 2 ago. But one of our Cheska and I's favorite abilities got a big buff, and there's a character class where he basically carries like a mini nuclear reactor on his back, and his special ability is that he can open it up and expose everyone to radiation for like 5 seconds, which does both damage over time to enemy players, and it also takes away their ability to heal for 20 seconds, which is really
it's the
great.
worst.
But it's actually a really great ability.
Yeah.
It just sucks when you can't heal. But yeah, so that ability got a huge buff. Like, it does way more damage and it lasts longer. So, and I think it also has a bigger range. But the best part about when that character's doing it is it looks like he's farting, like really hard, and he's like waves are coming out of him and stuff like that. So Cheska just kept playing that character over and over again and laughing every time she started doing that, saying like, check it out, I'm farting. And then she actually made a gameplay video, a montage video of her doing it and like getting play of the game with her farts and dubbing it with fart sound effects. So
It's pretty funny.
I recommend that video.
Well, recommendations for Call of Duty. Black Farts 4.
I will say, unfortunately, if you search Black Ops 4 farts, you do not get that video at the top.
That's okay.
I don't know if it was just posted on Facebook or...
I believe for now it is just posted on Facebook.
You do get a strange number of videos with thumbnails with women in them, like in underwear. I don't really understand that at all, but whatever you're into, I guess. Farts are your thing. I will say too, the PC port of that game seems pretty solid. It plays pretty sublime, like it works really, really well. I also think I like it a lot. I like the concepts. It seems the thing I'm finding that I hate the most about World War II, I'm still don't regret buying it for as cheap as I bought it, but like that HQ stuff is not good. The amount of like, you don't even have to run around it anymore. It's all menus now. But the amount of garbage in that game is just, there's so many like this pack that unlocks this attachment and this attachment doesn't do anything. It's just cosmetic. And like, I hate it. I think like skins are great. A little bit of weapon customization is great, but I like the way that, at least in the beta, hopefully it stays this way. Black Ops 4's menus are very clean, and it's just like create a class and very limited cosmetic stuff, and look at the different character types, and that's it. And then just queue for a match. And I think that's really appealing. So yeah, I don't know. I'm pretty excited for it now. I also love the way that you can see people's health bars. I don't remember if that was in Black Ops 3. It's definitely not in World War II. I don't think it's in World War II.
I think it was in Black Ops 3. I can't remember for sure though.
It looks real. It's really satisfying and it looks really good. And like the way they like the health bars like flash as they take damage. I don't know. There's a lot of really great like this feels good to play stuff in that game, which I'm pretty excited about.
If you could play that like discreetly with mouse and keyboard on a PS4 or an Xbox One, and then just like run over fools, would you do that instead of PC?
No, I don't think so. It runs really well on PC. It looks incredibly nice on PC. If I have any issues with it, it's really in the balance. I think there's some balance stuff they still have to work on. I don't know. You would know better than me, Alex. Because I didn't play that much of Black Ops 3 multiplayer. I would hope that they're committed to continuing to work on balance and stuff pretty hardcore after launch. It doesn't seem like they've taken much time to work on the balance of World War II. It seems like it's still pretty like, and again, it's still a fun game to jump in and just like blow off some steam with, but I wouldn't take it. I don't take it seriously at all because it doesn't seem like it's that well balanced. But I found that the only time in Black Ops 4 in the like 5 rounds I played earlier, I was getting really frustrated at that one sniper rifle that's kind of like an op. It was very, I don't know if it's more of a PC issue, but like it seems like it's a one-shot kill no matter where they hit you, or if they hit you like above the belt or something. Because it was very much like I would be running, I would see someone, and by the time I had iron sighted, I was dead. And then I would watch the kill cam, and the kill cam was like, oh, it hit you in the shoulder or whatever, and it didn't even indicate that I was a headshot, and it like kill you in one hit. That was pretty brutal. I also think the armor perk seems kind of like bullshit, but
Oh yeah, everybody's been complaining about the armor perk, which basically adds like 100 extra health to you effectively.
yeah.
Which is
So
a lot.
I think, but the core feel of the game is really good. So as long as they're willing to like work on those balance issues, I don't see it being an issue. And I'm really interested in that blackout mode now. The more I think about it, at first when I heard about it, I thought it was just kind of like, I don't want another battle royale game. But the more I think about it, the idea of it being kind of a greatest hits of Black Ops maps with weapons from across the series sounds kind of fun.
And you were saying about if they want to keep balance on it. So Black Ops 3 received a balance patch as well as like extra maps, I think for free, as recently as like within the past 6 months.
That's cool.
And
I
that-
assume that's
Yeah, that game is
Yeah.
years old. So
Yep. Cool.
yeah, so they're taking good care of it, and I think Treyarch is probably the studio I would trust most with actually, taking care of a game years after it's been released.
I'm actually pleased that it doesn't have single player. I realize the thing now, like, it's great that they don't have to make any narrative justification for why things are the way they are in multiplayer. I was thinking about it while you were describing Heist. Like, they don't have to justify that with like some heist thing in the story. It's just like, this mode is in the game because it doesn't matter because there's no story in this game anyway. And I think that's
Absolutely.
kind of great.
Allison, do you have any intention to try this game?
Maybe I'll give it a shot. I am not really a huge Call of Duty Black Ops fan. I've just never really gotten into it. So I might, if you said that there's like a free open beta, I might give that a shot. But other than that, it's not something that I would immediately pay money for, I don't think.
Yeah. I think the open beta is this weekend until Monday morning.
Yeah.
I believe until
There's another open beta also, I think, in September
okay.
for when Blackout launches, which is like I do think it's a little odd that they're charging $60 for this based on what I've heard is in it. It seems Blackout. I hope Blackout's really cool. If Blackout is really cool, then that's like justified. But I do think if I would have pre-ordered it early, like today, if it was $40. At $60, it seems a little thin. So I don't know.
I don't know if you'll ever talk Activision off of that cliff, though.
No, they won't. Yeah, of course not.
Yeah, and I mean,
People pay it.
I say this as somebody that's paid full price for Overwatch when it came out, but like a multiplayer only for $60 does sound like
And-
kind of a lot.
We've talked about it off air, but really, truly, Overwatch was $40 on PC when it launched. Like,
Yeah.
you could buy a $60 version, and I am aware that it was $60 on console, but the PC version was $40 at its core price. The only reason it cost $60 on console is because there were licensing fees that had to be paid to the console manufacturers, and so they only released the collector's edition on PS4 and Xbox. So The other thing too with Overwatch is what, 3-4 years old now, and
Mhm.
they added a new character less than a month ago. So like Black Ops 4 will not be supported in 4 years. It may be supported
Right.
with minor balance tweaks and stuff, but there won't be major content additions 4 years from now.
I
That's just
really
not gonna
doubt
happen.
they're gonna add a class or something in a specialist in like a year or two.
And there's a season pass for it. So like there's a lot of stuff where I'm kind of like, the value proposition is kind of not fantastic, but
yeah, core
but it's
gameplay,
fun.
everything like that seems super cool.
Yes, very
But-
good.
Hey, Allison, because mysteriously we've lost Andre.
Yep.
I hear you've been playing something that is potentially incredibly satisfying.
Yeah, well, I've been playing WarioWare Gold. I've also been playing Octopath Traveler, but I couldn't resist getting WarioWare Gold on launch, which has been really, really fun. I don't know if you guys are interested in picking it up since it's still a 3DS game, which still seems a little bit odd that they're like still kind of sticking to their guns of, no, we're going to keep releasing 3DS games. It's not dead. And but I've been really enjoying it. It's mostly a compilation of various of other WarioWare games in the past. But it has some new things added in, and they all the new things added in feel very good. And the story itself is loose. Like, it's not like a serious story, which you wouldn't really want from a WarioWare game, but it's really kind of goofy and silly. And the one thing that kind of strikes me about it is that it feels kind of like almost an older fashioned kind of game, handheld game, with all the like little mini games and little extras that they have thrown in. Like, for example, one thing that kind of extends the length of the game, because really to get through the story mode, just kind of running through all the different levels and finishing it takes only a couple of hours, maybe. So to extend it, they have this little like gacha machine in there. So with the coins that you earn while playing the game, you unlock like little extras, and there's just like all these weird little mini games and extra features that they have. Like, for example, they've got a bunch of alarm clocks in there, which is a very odd thing for a game to be like, yeah, you can have an alarm clock in your video game, but it does the thing where when you want to turn it off, you have to play a couple of WarioWare games to do it. So that's been kind of
Awesome.
might actually be my new alarm clock.
Yeah,
because I am not somebody that wakes up easily in the morning, so forcing me to wake up with WarioWare games might actually do the trick.
Man, do you know if there's any connectivity with that? Could it be the new Wake Up Club?
I don't know if there's any connectivity, but I don't think there is actually. But there's also some various achievements you can have that are basically called missions. So it's like, in this mode, get over 45, like get a score over 45, and those get you extra coins. So it kind of cycles in these extra little features that you can get to really extend the amount of time that you'll be playing this game. Because I mean, I don't think that it's necessarily a bad thing that this isn't a terribly long game. I mean, none of the WarioWare games have ever really been. They've always been kind of a bit of a like, try to beat your high score at a certain point, but it feels like they've really added a lot. And one of the goofiest modes is basically allows you to dub your voice over. It's basically a voice acting mode where you voice act for one of the characters in one of the in-game cutscenes. And it is kind of hilarious. And
that sounds so good.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where I'm like, oh, am I really going to play this? And then I, like, with all the ones I unlocked, I did it because it was just so kind of charming and silly in a way that most other games really wouldn't think to do that. So I've been really enjoying it a lot. I think it really, if you like WarioWare, I definitely recommend it. It's if you're not somebody that's always ever been convinced by WarioWare, I don't know if it's for you really, because it's basically like, hey, WarioWare fans, this is the perfect game for you. And if you love it, great, then 100% get it. But if you don't, then it's definitely not for you. But I think it's just very weird and charming and kind of feels old-fashioned handheld game in a weird way, which has been fun.
Did any of DIY make it in there? Can you make your own little ones?
No, I don't think so. At least I haven't seen it. Granted, there's one specific thing that I don't know what it's for, and you can like where you have to collect like 10 separate parts to make something. So I don't know what that's going to end up being. So it very well could be, but from what I've seen, I haven't seen anything from DIY.
Okay.
I think I'm probably going to pick this one up. I don't really want to play 3DS games anymore, but because of the nature of the way the games work, this is one of the few instances where I'm not scratching my head and saying why not on Switch. I know there are people who are, and I know that technically you could do everything with an on-dock Switch that this game does, but like from what I've seen, it just makes way more sense on a 3DS, and I am totally okay with my 3DS just becoming like a WarioWare device that I pull out of a drawer every now and then. Because the breadth of like the amount of mini games and stuff in it is the thing that I think is exciting, because I've enjoyed all of those games in the past, but to be able to access like 300 of them all the time is pretty cool.
Yeah, and they're all really fun. I think the ones that really work best for me are they have a bunch of separate categories for the games. Like these are the sports themed ones, and these are the like daily life themed ones. But the ones that are based off of kind of retro Nintendo games are the ones that always kind of like fit best for me.
Yeah.
And it's really fun to make that work. But yeah, I think that if you like WarioWare, I definitely recommend it, and that there's enough stuff that they throw in there, especially with the various missions, achievements that they have you do, as well as you can actually go in and access any mini game or any micro game rather that you want at a time, and it has like a target level for you to get to it for it. So if you really want to just like play one game over and over and see how far you can get, you can totally do that too. And I feel like they've done a pretty nice job of throwing in enough to make it feel worthwhile to purchase.
Yeah, it seems like a really good archival package of like the last, however 20 years, 25 years of WarioWare.
Yeah, it'd be nice to see if they could make a new one for Switch, or at least keep the series alive. Just because I think that there's so much weird charm in this series that I don't want to see the series die. It's especially since it has its own like characters that have been there just only in WarioWare games, and I hope that they continue it. But it is a really nice package. I do kind of wish that they'd. I wish that they would kind of make it clear, oh, this is what this game is from, or this is a new game that you haven't seen, to make it more kind of archival. But at the same time, since most of the WarioWare games are kind of focused around a very specific gimmick, I suppose. The first one was the standard, and then there's the WarioWare Twisted and Touched.
Yeah,
it's and I think it's mostly just those first three, not the DIY, not the weird DSi only one. But
well, that one wasn't that great, so
it was not. but yeah, it's a nice little collection, and I've really been enjoying it so far in between Octopath battles.
Yeah,
so
awesome.
I'm gonna ask you to make Sophie's choice here.
Yes.
If you had to pick between this compilation and the Rhythm Heaven compilation,
Oh my God.
both on 3DS, which one do you think you would go for?
Oh. That is a real Sophie's choice. I would probably go for WarioWare. I think it's a nicer package. That said, Rhythm Heaven is really good, and not enough people have played it. So Rhythm Heaven Mega Mix is also very, very good.
Agreed. I haven't tried WarioWare, but I really do want to try it. Unfortunately, my 3DS is currently overseas, so.
Yeah, I've heard people. I don't know how much this is, how accurate this is, but I've heard that the sales for WarioWare Gold haven't been great, in part because it's on the 3DS. But at the same time, I really hope it's not, so that they're not going oh, let's not make any more anymore.
Yeah, I hope that the takeaway is let's not make any more 3DS games, not let's not make any more WarioWare games.
Right.
Knowing
'cause it's-
Nintendo, I don't know. They could take it either way, but
Right.
I definitely think they need to start phasing the 3DS out. I really wish they would just be honest and say like, hey, the 3DS isn't going to last forever. We want to stretch it as long as we can. Here, we have content planned out for 2 years. But then in 2020, you can expect the 3DS to be sunsetted, and we're not going to be releasing new games for it. Done. Production stops early 2020.
I still actively really like playing the 3DS, to be perfectly honest. I think it's a really great system. And so part of me is like, oh, I don't know if I want that. But at the same time, they have to know at this point that games on this, people who have a Switch want games on the Switch. And doing the thing like with like with Sushi Striker, where they're still putting games on the 3DS that are on the Switch. It's kind of like, why split your market like that?
Because way more people have a 3DS than have a Switch.
You know, I would be more okay with them saying like, hey, we're not going to release any more 3DS exclusives. Games that will run on both will come out for both, but I don't know. It just is like, it is a little bit frustrating of kind of a like, well, I guess I need to have outlet space for both my Switch and my 3DS, and I need to keep them both charged, and I need to put both of them in my bag because Nintendo is just going to run with both of them forever. Even though they don't really connect at all, they feel like totally different platforms. I don't know. It's kind of weird.
They are in like every way, so.
Exactly. Yeah, no, yeah. Right. It would just be nice if like I could see a beautiful world where like you buy WarioWare Gold with your Nintendo account, and then, you know, 250 of the games are playable on your Switch, so you can blow them up on your TV nice and big, and then you could also have it on your 3DS, and when you take it on the train on the 3DS, everything's playable because there's stuff that can't be done on the Switch or whatever. Like, I don't know. I wish that they would integrate that stuff more. It's not like it hasn't been shown how it can be done, integrating like a quote home console with a handheld. So I don't know.
So Pat, you just want fewer consoles so you can sit and be happy with them.
Yeah, exactly.
Just you happy few consoles.
It's funny because, you know, this is like, I don't think Sam would enjoy this game at all, but I want his opinion of its Britishness so very bad because it's very, very, very British. But yeah, I have put a few hours into We Happy Few since it launched yesterday. I'm like in past the very beginning of the game. I think there's probably a little bit more stuff for them to tutorialize, but it's largely like I'm in the open world part. And so far, early on, I think I dig that game quite a bit. It's interesting. I imagine that, I don't know if I'll love it forever. I can see the ways in which it could go south. The Steam reviews yesterday were very strong for it, and then today have switched over to mixed, and I anticipate them going to negative probably in the next week or so. Largely because the game is costed as a full price game, and they're also selling a $20 season pass for it, and I think people are super pissed about that. I don't know that I agree. I don't think it feels like a full priced game to me. I don't think it feels thin mechanically or anything. So I think it's mostly just that like people thought it was going to be a $30 indie game, and now we're super mad that it's published by Gearbox and a more expensive thing. But it feels high quality in terms of the like art and design to the point where I think it deserves its spot. But for anyone who hasn't seen it, it's basically like if you sort of smash together BioShock and like a Bethesda open world style game. It has a lot of that feeling with some survival elements tacked on, but I would not call it a survival game. It's not like Subnautica or anything. Like there's no base building. The crafting is equivalent to what you would find in something like a Bethesda game. And there's a lot of exploration and stuff in it, a lot of narrative stuff. It's kind of based on this dystopian British retro futuristic world where the people of this town did something really terrible and they take this medication to try to forget it, that's administered by the government. But I haven't really gotten that far in the story yet, so I don't know. What I've seen so far is incredibly well written and incredibly well voice acted. That's the part that is the most intriguing to me, and the reason why I think I will see it through, even if I sour on the gameplay a little bit. Otherwise, the gameplay seems pretty predictable. I mean, it's like combat is very basic, just has melee combat. There's no ranged weapons. But the story is really cool. There's a lot of little like books to read and pamphlets to read and pick up and signs in the environment to read. And it seems very rich and like well formed. Lots of like cool environmental storytelling and stuff too, which people know I'm a sucker for. So,
yeah. So is it like BioShock in that it is painfully like, sorry, what's the term? Not open world. It's just a very linear experience.
No, so that's the.
Yeah, I was gonna say I remember something coming out a long time ago that there was a lot of procedurally generated content in that game, and I want to know, like, did that make it in?
Yes, so that's actually the reason why I compare it to sort of a Bethesda open world, in the sense that I think it generates that stuff procedurally when you start playing, and each game does have a beginning and end. So like, it's not run based at all. It's not at all like roguelite in any way. They are going to be releasing a sandbox mode, which I think could be potentially interesting. I don't think that game's strengths lie in its gameplay mechanics, so I don't know that I would be interested in playing it in a sandbox mode. But it is procedural, where the map itself doesn't seem to be procedural to me, but where chests and stuff pops up does seem that way, in a way that makes it feel, I don't know if random's the right word, but it does feel more like surprising, I guess, than something like a BioShock. The thing I find it, I really love the BioShock series, but I find it hard to go back and play any of them because of that linearity. And there are definitely things that like I experienced. I really enjoyed the stories, even given that they have some problems, and then move on. Whereas this game, it was kind of awesome to play through a very like BioShocky intro sequence, and then you come out of this sewer pipe and you're in an open world, and it's very much like go where you want to go. You have a quest objective, but you have a compass that's like, there's an abandoned house over here, there's a town over here. So that part is really cool, I would say.
Cool.
One of the main complaints I've heard from people who are playing it is it feels like the story, like that they made the gameplay and then they kind of tacked on the story stuff afterwards, because I mean that's literally what happened.
Yeah.
Does that feel like at all the case to you? Like, does it feel disjointed in that way, or?
I think a little bit. I think it feels disjointed in that way, in sort of the same way that you might ascribe that to like a Batman kind of modern hub-based Metroidvania kind of game. Again, I'm very early, but like there's kind of this like open world that has stuff to explore and little like nooks and crannies to find, like chests to open up and stuff. And then the last, like, I don't want to call them missions because it's not like you accept the mission and then go and do it. You talk to somebody and then they give you your next objective. And the last like kind of main objective that I did was to go into this hideout for this like this group of this gang of like basically greasers. So
Snakes rule.
Yeah, kind of. So that was like, okay, so get over there and then go in and hit a loading screen. And then I was kind of in this little mini dungeon kind of thing. And there was a bunch of sort of story stuff that played out in there. And then I exited that and then went back to the guy that asked me to go do it. And then I handed it in. So I do think that there is it does feel tacked on in some ways. There's also these like, because like the idea with the joy is the main thing that they talk about it for is to suppress memories. And So you've basically decided to stop taking your joy. I haven't gotten to the point in the story where you have to start taking it to blend in again, but the part of the story that I'm in, there are like these like floating masks in the environment, and you touch them, and then you get like a flashback memory of something. So that definitely kind of feels tacked on, especially because the first one I found, where I found it, made sense because it was related to the memory, but the second one didn't really feel like it tied into the location that I was in at all. But that's sort of stuff that I think is, because the story seems so strong, I can kind of forgive the fact that it's a little bit tacked on. And I don't find the survival mechanics to be so pervasive yet anyway, that they make the open world parts where you're running around collecting things and crafting things, it doesn't feel tedious yet. It feels pretty like, it actually feels like an interesting, like I go, oh, okay, I know I need to go into this hideout, so I better fill up my canteen, take a drink of water, make sure I've got some food on me. Now I'm good to go. And I kind of like that bit of management of like meters and stuff. That's actually the part about, we joke about how like I say I don't like survival games and then champion stuff like Subnautica, but it's because I like that management of needs, even though I don't love the crafting and base building stuff. So this game is definitely heavier on needs management and less on crafting stuff.
That's cool.
Sounds like you said knees management. Manage those knees.
I also really like the skill tree in the game. It feels closer to a BioShock than like a Bethesda game. It's sort of basic, but it's stuff like the first skill point that I spent was one that lets me smother people in their sleep or choke them out from behind. And
Gotta put a skill point into that.
Yes, a lot of, well,
That's
normally
the first
I would
thing
say
you need.
they kind of guide you to buy that one first, but I would say that it would be very understandable if you were like, what the fuck? But unlike something like Far Cry, in this game, your character is like, they set your character up so well, and he's just like this kind of hyper normal bumbling guy. Like there's nothing special about him in any way when he starts. He's not like, he doesn't really have any like real weaknesses, but he's not good at anything either. So it feels okay that you have to put a skill point into like choking someone out, because it's unlikely he had ever done that before. And his little quips when he like, when you go to choke someone out, he'll say like, it's not me, it's you, or it's not you, it's me, and stuff. And like he feels like really remorseful for all of the violence that he's perpetrating, and it's pretty funny. His voiceover is really good.
So
Ludo narrative dissonance.
Yeah, that's kind of my point, is it actually avoids that pretty well.
So I have a question unrelated to We Happy Few.
Uh-huh.
And it's posed to all of you, and I'll give the first answer so you have some time to think. Your favorite skill tree in a game. And for me, I would probably say Path of Exile, just because it's fucking huge. Like there's like a zillion branches and all of them go like 5 to 10 steps. I don't know if you guys have ever played Path of Exile, but it is a free-to-play game on Steam, and it is really fascinating if you're into like Diablo or Grim Dawn or anything like that.
It's brutal.
It's super brutal, and a new season starts pretty soon. But yeah, that skill tree is nuts.
Yeah.
Pat?
Oh, man. I'm trying to remember the sort of stuff that was on the skill tree in the first Dead Rising. I tend to like, I love the way that the Skyrim skill tree is visualized and stuff, but I like skill trees that aren't just like, get more health, do more damage. I like skill trees that actually like unlock game mechanics, and not in a way that I think in most games you should be able to stealth kill someone from the get-go. But I like games that unlock new skill mechanics that are like, now you can do some crazy thing that you would have never thought possible because you unlock the skill that's way down the tree.
Totally.
So I'm trying to think of a good example of that, but I recall Dead Rising's skill tree having some bonkers stuff in it that was pretty fun.
So one for Dead Rising. Allison?
I don't know if this is necessarily the best skill tree because I'm kind of coming up at a blank, but I remember weirdly liking the one in Borderlands, mostly because it allowed me to really hone in on what I like to do in combat in a way that not every skill tree does. Mostly because I liked really focusing hard on elemental damage and setting at enemies on fire and things. So I felt like that they had a very specific elemental skill tree that I was able to like put all of my skill tree points in and do well. And so I don't know if it's necessarily the best skill tree, but that's literally the first thing that came to my mind. So
Oh yeah, it's not best. It should be favorite.
I'm changing my answer. My favorite skill tree is the one from Star Wars Galaxies.
Oh, interesting.
It was bullshit. Like, it's so grindy and broken in so many ways, but I love the way that skill tree worked, because it was like, I talked about that Gloomhaven game a while back about like you open a box, you get a new character, and it's so cool. That's what the Star Wars Galaxy skill tree was like, because it was like, I've played this class for 40 hours and now I can be a Beastmaster. And now after 40 hours of laying in grass, shooting at like womp rats, I have enough skill to be a rifleman, and now I can be a sniper. That was super rewarding, even though it was not well balanced.
How about you, Andre?
Well, I don't know. Skill trees never really stick out to me. I was thinking like, Witcher 3, because that's like my favorite game. But like, I don't know, that skill tree isn't great.
You know,
like, it's not bad, but it's
kind of one of the things that has made it hard for me to stick with that game in some ways. Is as much as I fucking love the lore and the world, and I love the first two games so much. Part of the reason I haven't finished the third one is because I feel like that skill tree is kind of like inscrutable in some ways.
It lets you build your abilities and like do really cool, unique stuff. Like, you know, you can like focus on like your sword. While they were farming potatoes, you studied the blade.
Yeah.
Or you can like make it so you breathe fire, or make like a big dome with your shield and spell and stuff like that. Or like, I'm going to study like potions and stuff. So it gives you like, you can go really deep into all those skill trees. So that's pretty cool. But then I was thinking Rogue Legacy has a really good skill tree.
Oh yeah, that's good.
A good call.
Oh,
I changed my favorite to that because that might actually be my favorite.
You know, speaking of good skill trees, I'm pretty sure Andre's game also has a pretty good skill tree.
Nice.
It's not really a skill tree.
Oh, those mutations are awesome.
Yeah,
That's
but they're not really, I don't know, they're not really a skill tree though.
It's not really a skill tree.
But yeah, speaking of Rogue Legacy and Rogue Lights, I guess.
I had to pounce on that transition opportunity.
Yeah, no,
Well done.
I mean, I totally didn't set that up on purpose or anything, but yeah, I've been playing Dead Cells a bunch. I picked it up on early access last year at some point. Everyone was talking it up, and it looked pretty cool. And sure enough, it was pretty cool, but there wasn't an ending to it. And there wasn't until like earlier this week, like Tuesday or whatever, when it came out. And I have seen that ending now, and hey, that game's real good. There's only like 3 bosses. It's not super long currently. They have plans, my understanding is, to add more bosses and more areas. I think I've seen every area and boss currently. I think there are 4 bosses, but you only fight 3 in a run currently, I think. And I am working on, so after you beat it, you get like a modifier that like makes the game harder, and then that lets you get like the next modifier that opens up like other doors.
Yeah,
I've only got one, so I don't know what the actual deal with that is. The first door I went into, I was like, this is it? This is all I get? Yeah, it didn't make for a super like, oh yeah, this is gonna like change everything and makes it being harder totally worth it. But yeah, that's neither here nor there. For the moment, the game is rogue-like light, or whatever you want to call it. And where I guess it's rogue light because you take over, like you can buy stuff and then you can have that come over into the into your next run, which is where Dead Cells comes from. The persistent currency, I guess, is cells, And so in between each level, you have the opportunity to spend those cells to buy upgrades that will like either weapons or like tools, or like upgrades to your health, or not to your health, to your like health flask, and which is kind of like an Estus flask from Dark Souls, where it heals like I think it's, I don't know, maybe 50% of your health or something, and I think the max you can get is like four charges.
Mhm.
And since I had been playing before it came out in early access, or since it came out in early access, I already had like a ton of those upgrades, and so I came in. It was pretty easy to end up getting to the final boss. And then like you're finding blueprints, and then when you get to the midpoint or you get to like the point between levels, then you can turn in those blueprints, turn in your cells, and like if you turn in all the cells needed to buy a blueprint, then that weapon will pop up right there. But then also it'll become available in like future runs. It'll just show up randomly in the world and spawn. So you're constantly finding like upgraded weapons, and there are like different rarities of weapon. So, and they'll have like, so if it's like a super high rarity weapon, it'll have a bunch of like bonus things, like this will light stuff on fire when you hit enemies, or this will poison them or make them bleed, or this will crit when you're below 50% health or when you're at max health and stuff like that.
Mhm.
So they're every run is different because the worlds are procedurally generated and you're getting different loot every time, and so you'll end up like, shit, this weapon that I don't really use is the best I've found. Like, it's just like got so much more damage than anything else, so I guess I'm gonna learn how to use it right now. Like my first run where I got to the end boss, I found a bow that you charge it, and then it like the arrow will be like glowing like kind of bluish, and then it'll turn gold for a split second, and if you let go when it turns gold, then it'll crit every time.
Yep.
So I was just like, okay, well, I'm going into this last area for the first time. I have no idea what it's going to be like. So I went in with just that bow and like some other weapon. And I was like, oh, okay, this area is not so bad because I can just stand back and crit everything and throw down turrets and kill everything from afar, because everything's going to mess me up. So, and then like finding out like, oh, okay, well, if I use this weapon against this boss, it's like way easier because it counteracts this specific part, like this specific move the boss does, and turns it against it. That was really cool. So yeah, that game's real good. It feels really good to play. There's like a ton to unlock. I don't know, I maybe got like 70% of the blueprints, maybe. There's a lot of blueprints in that game.
Mm-hmm.
And you get like an ability after you beat the final boss for the first time. You get an ability that's like not a game changer, but it does like open up a lot more stuff.
Yep.
Which is really interesting. And I was like surprised by it. I was like, what is going on here? It was wild. People should play that game because it's very good. I'm playing on PC. I've heard the Switch version, people seem to like it, but when it gets like the later areas where there are more enemies, it can get kind of framey, or so I hear.
Yeah. I got it on Switch, and I haven't seen that yet, but I've only done a few runs, so I haven't gotten terribly far, so I can't speak to the later areas.
I don't know if I'd want to play on those Joy-Cons.
Yeah.
I like it, but
Yeah.
Pro controller would definitely be great for that game, though.
Yeah, Pro controller would be good, but
I might have to do that.
If you're like playing it on like a train or a bus or whatever, then it would be nice to be able to play with those Joy-Cons. But I played like the Dragon Ball FighterZ beta on Switch. That's not the way to play that game.
Doesn't seem like it has it's great for fighting games. I don't know.
Especially that one, because it's so fast and it drops frames, and also it looks so good, but then it drops resolution during like some moves.
Ooh.
So that's all a bummer. But I mean, if like the pros aren't going to play it that way, but people who are just like fans of Dragon Ball and just want to like mess around, it's perfectly fine. But yeah, yeah, Dead Cells, it's real good. I think Alex lied at the beginning when he said he reviewed it, because I was looking to see if he reviewed it, and I didn't see anything right away.
So
and I was gonna plagiarize what I said. I was gonna read his review.
Similar to the IGN reviewer, it was too hard for me because I didn't hit the buy button. So I just picked up a random YouTuber's review and just wrote that. But I fully intend to play that game. It looks great.
Yeah,
I played.
Go for it, Pat.
I played a good chunk of it in early access, but I dropped it after I got to the first boss because I didn't want to ruin it. Like I didn't want to burn out on it before they were done putting in all the narrative stuff. So I started it again today for the first time with the release content, the 1.0 content, and it's a really fantastic game. I haven't gotten to the boss yet, but I got the vine growth ability right at the beginning.
I have that too.
Yeah, it's really good. It feels great, plays great. I do wish there was a little bit more ability to customize your run going in. Like it would be nice if there was a way to like select weapons at some kind of penalty, like maybe not being able to actually like advance to a new area with it or something. But I just wish I could have more chances to try out the weapons.
There you do get an ability later that lets you like reroll a shop content or
That's
a shop
cool.
item.
Yeah.
I still haven't unlocked that. I've been working on it, but there's so many things that I can unlock. It's overwhelming.
Yeah, it definitely just seems like a very cool I don't know. It's like it's got a lot of the like sort of Spelunky sensibility, but mixed with a more engaging combat system. Because the thing with Spelunky is like I love the idea of what that game does, but I don't like platforming as much as I enjoy like Castlevania style combat. So Dead Cells is like perfect for that because it's so much more about combat than platforming, and I think that's like really, really cool and it's really fun. And it's fluid. I love the way the canceling, like you can, the animation cancels are great. So you can really like work combos in ways that are engaging. The dodge roll feels really great. The jump feels pretty good. Sometimes I feel like the double jump isn't, I wish it was a little bit higher, but I don't know. It's a great game.
Yeah. The segue from Rogue Legacy felt pretty apt because I loved Rogue Legacy and I played a ton of that. And this gives me that, even though it's a very different game, it gives me that same similar kind of vibe. Just kind of in terms of how good it feels, how good the combat feels, kind of go doing your runs, but also being able to carry some stuff over. I really am enjoying it from what little I've played of it so far.
Yeah, oh man, it's so good.
Yeah, it sounds super great. I looking forward to trying it.
I imagine it's going to be, I haven't played enough of it to say for myself, but I imagine it's going to be on quite a few year-end lists when that rolls around.
Great.
Yep. So yeah, that's kind of it for Rogue Legacy. Does anyone have anything they want to talk about? There was that for Dead Cells. There was that Rogue Legacy 5-year anniversary update though.
Wait, there was? I didn't see that. What did they add?
You can play with a mouse.
Oh.
I don't know what else.
Did they add some like weird effects like the vertigo or whatever?
I don't know. I just read that like there's one fan who had been asking about mouse support, and they were like, maybe, I don't know. And then 5 years later, they add it.
Hey,
that guy must be psyched.
But
I guess he was like there's a guy in the Steam forums who was very upset that there was no mouse support in the game.
That's amazing.
So yeah, I don't know. But there was that Smash Direct earlier this week.
Oh yeah, Luigi's dead.
Yeah,
Luigi's dead. Finally, that fucker took so much from us in the year of Luigi.
He's just not just dead. His soul is forever reaved from his body.
You know, you play with, you go around, you fuck with ghosts like Luigi was doing. What do you think's gonna happen?
Yeah, it's true. It was all fun and games in the mansion, but go to Alucard's mansion, everything changes.
Dracula's castle, man. That's crazy. But yeah, so they added Simon Belmont, Trevor Belmont, right? Is that Simon Richter? Simon and Richter?
Yeah, I think it's Simon and Richter.
They're like echo characters, so they play basically the same, except Richter's got like purple fire. Let's see what else. You know, it's purple because it's made of Waluigi. He's burning Waluigi in that fire.
Or maybe the Saints are gonna show up.
Do you think
Johnny Gat playable in Smash?
Do you think this means that Luigi's not going to be in Smash now?
He's going to be resurrected by necromancy and become Waluigi. This is actually how Waluigi's from the future.
Yeah, there you go.
It's like this is the Street Fighter 3 of Smash games. Street Fighter 3, the one in the future. I don't know. Someone's dead. So Waluigi dies and is resurrected and becomes Waluigi.
Luigi dies. Yeah. Yes.
Let's see what else is it. King K. Rool from Donkey Kong.
What if the rest of the time leading up to the Smash launch is them like revealing characters that are murdering Mario characters, and then we get to Smash and like actually the Marios aren't just aren't in it. There aren't any characters from Mario in it anymore. It's all third-party characters that killed the Mario characters off.
Except for Daisy.
Mario and Ridley both, or not Mario got killed by Ridley. Mega Man got killed by Ridley, right? And then Death just iced Luigi.
Yep.
What does King K. Rool kill anyone in the Donkey Kong trailer? I don't think so.
I don't think he did.
He kind of kicks King Dedede.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, King Dedede can't. Yeah,
who gives a shit about King Dedede?
No. Next, I mean, Yoshi needs to go next. I think that's pretty clear.
Yo, don't talk about my son like that.
You have a lot of sons.
Do I?
Dad?
Yeah.
But that direct, I just recently finished watching it, and that seems like a really significant game. Like, there's a lot of stuff in it. Holy crap!
You can use your Switch as a Nintendo Music MP3 player. Like you can listen to your Switch with it like in sleep mode. You can listen to like the music from Smash.
I saw somebody post on Reddit saying something like, "Man, Smash is the first music app on the Switch."
Yeah, I think. I mean, I'm gonna buy it. I like Smash as much as anyone who's casually invested in Smash, and I assume it'll have better network play than any of them have had in the past. So like being able to play it online would be nice. And like I didn't have a Wii U, so I didn't play the Smash 4 on much. But to a certain extent, it seems like they're kind of spending a lot of time on Smash this year, which I get that's what they got.
Don't have anything.
Yeah. I guess really what it is it kind of bothers me that Smash is enough, I guess. Like, I think it's a great series. I think it'll be a great game. I'm excited about it, of course. But it kind of is frustrating that it's like, oh, I just have to tell them there's Smash coming out this holiday. Then we don't really have to do anything else.
I mean, there's also Mario Party and there's also Pokemon. So like, I feel like they're all games that if you're not really interested in Smash, Pokemon is kind of the more casual version of Pokemon, and Mario Party is Mario Party. But it's not like Smash is the only game coming out this holiday.
Yeah, I guess I just feel like both the Mario Party and Pokemon. So here's what it is. It's that I am ready for Switch to get something else that's going to appeal to like the person who liked Breath of the Wild in me. Not necessarily another one of those kinds of games directly, but like I feel like their answer for those kinds of players is Smash, and I don't think there's as much overlap between people who really like stuff like Breath of the Wild and Metroid, like Zelda and Metroid, as they think. I think there is a lot of people in that group, but I don't know. It just feels like there's nothing surprising and exciting coming out of them, I guess. That's really what it is. Like, for this year, or for this holiday. Like, Smash is a very known quantity. That Pokemon game is kind of like a remix of older Pokemon games, and the Mario Party, like, I don't know, it's just not for me. So I wish there was something like, I wish there was kind of an unknown, because like Mario Odyssey was such a unique game. Even though it's another Mario game, it just has so much life in it and so many exciting things to discover in it. And maybe that's, I don't know where Pokemon will be that, but it just feels like the games that are on the way are very known quantities.
Did they ever give a release date to those Yoshi and Kirby games?
I don't know.
Yoshi's the next one, right? I think that got pushed to next year. I think it's in February. Maybe.
Yeah, I think it's next year. Yep, it's been delayed to 2019.
Okay.
Let's see. Also, I think there was a rumor going around that Nintendo's looking at remaking another Legend of Zelda game.
Oh yeah.
I think it was remake, not remaster.
Skyward Sword, everyone's favorite.
Oh yeah.
I like Skyward Sword.
So do I.
I like the tutorial is too damn long. I'll admit that. Much like Assassin's Creed 3, why is the tutorial like 25 hours long?
You know what I would kind of enjoy is a game, and maybe a Zelda game would be the one to do this. I don't know. It would be really interesting to me if there was like a game where, and I know the knee-jerk response to this, but it would be interesting to me if there was a game where it was like you're playing docked on your couch and you're going along and playing, and then you go through a door, and then it like prompts you to undock the Switch, and then you play a sequence that is appropriate for handheld, that's like kind of made for it, that uses touchscreen controls and stuff. And then there are also parts that you are playing at handheld and it says, please dock your Switch, because it's like designed to be played on a larger screen with like more spectacle, I guess. I don't know. Something like that I think could be kind of cool. Like, I'm thinking about like Oracle Seasons and Ages, the way that they had you switch between worlds and stuff. I think there would be neat to have a game that felt like it couldn't be done anywhere else because of the way that it switched between being a handheld and console game.
Kind of like Four Swords Adventures for GameCube, where you use the Game Boy Advance.
I feel like they can't do that because, one, I think they started selling Switches without the dock, and two, that'd just be annoying for me because I don't have my dock set up.
Yeah, and if there's enough,
it's inconvenient because I don't have the space for it.
They absolutely won't do that because of those kinds of reasons. I just think it's too bad. I wish they would be more experimental with the way that they develop games for that thing, because I think there's so many cool things they could do. And if they could say up front, as long as they were clear about it up front, then like you just wouldn't have to play that game.
It did look like Mario Party was doing some interesting and slightly weird things with the Switch, like how you could have like multiple Switches and then like kind of arrange them in a way to like make boards differently.
That looks really neat.
Like I'm not saying that's the best solution, but at least they're trying little things here and there.
Yeah, it's better than nothing. Labo's kind of that to a T also. So
that's true.
Yeah.
Hey Andre, what do you think of Rathalos being in the game?
Like, why can't I play it? Why can't I play as Rathalos? Why can't I play as him? Are they gonna put Monster Hunter in the game? Like, Monster Hunter has been a character in like Marvel vs. Capcom.
What about a Palico?
Oh,
dude, that'd be like it'd be like an Ice Climbers type thing. You play as Monster Hunter and then your Palico will be like an attack or something. Like
every
Pokemon?
character in Smash Ultimate is getting an amiibo. This was an announcement.
Yep.
What if there was a Palico amiibo?
Oh man.
There are. I'm surprised there isn't one.
I
from
know.
Monster Hunter. What the legend? What's the
Whatever.
one? The Pokemon
Monster
type
Hunter.
one?
Yeah.
Oh, I forget.
Yeah, I'm surprised because I've seen those amiibo, but I didn't see a Palico.
There is. It looks like there is a Monster Hunter Stories amiibo, but it's like, and it is a vaguely cat. It's Naviro. I don't know what that is. I haven't played Monster Hunter Stories, but it's not what I want. It is a little cat thing, but
It ain't
it's
no
not a
Palico.
Palico. No, Palico. The cat.
I-
The Palico needs to be textured. Palico
don't-
amiibo.
Wow, I don't know what that is.
I have
Yeah,
no
I
idea.
haven't played Monster Hunter Stories, but yeah, I would. I'm interested in playing that game. They haven't shown that training mode in Smash looks really good, and like, who would have thought Nintendo would make like maybe the best training mode for like a fighting game, where like when you hit characters, it'll show like their arc that they go through. And like Smash has, I think, like a more ridiculous, like based on damage, people will have like different arcs for how you hit them. But and so it'll show like, oh, if you do like, if they're at 0%, here's how much they'll get knocked back. At like 50%, here's how much they get knocked back. At 100%, here's what their arc will look like. Other games should adopt that, even if it's just like the solo arc. Like, here's what this move looks like, or if you hit them with the heavy version, stuff like that. I think that would be really valuable and good in other games. And it's got like measurements on the screen and stuff. I don't know if like I'll actually need that stuff. I'm not going to get that crazy, but like, good on Nintendo for seemingly making a really good training mode for a fighting game, whether you think Smash is a fighting game or not.
We don't have to get into that here.
Yeah, I don't have an opinion one way or the other on that, but yeah, does anyone else have anything they want to share? No?
I don't know.
Okay. Well, that is going to do it for episode 32 of Gaming Fix. I have been your host, Andre Cole, aka your girl's favorite Sega Game Gear game. You can find me on the internet on Twitter at Coolslaw, COOLSL4W. Alex, where can people find you?
You can find me at bit.ly, that's ly/2, capital M, lowercase k, 1, capital N, as in Niagara Falls, 3-6.
369, damn you fine. Allison, hit me with them social media digits one more time.
You can find me on Twitter at WRITERSERENYTY. I'm starting to watch Star Wars: The Clone Wars, the show, so I might be tweeting about that.
Okay. I thought you were going to say I'm starting to watch Star Wars: The Clone Wars or Attack of the Clones. And I was like, you're starting? Wait, I thought...
No, I watched that last night. And today I watched the Clone Wars movie that is aggressively mediocre. So I've heard that people like the Clone Wars show, so I'm hoping good things. But
Are you
really
okay?
good.
So you're watching the current Clone Wars show,
I
or
mean,
like
not
the mid 2000s one?
the current-ish one. That's the one that started in 2008. The movie was basically a made for theaters pilot of the show.
Oh,
And it was very
okay. It's not great, but it's okay.
I feel like if it was a TV episode, I'd be like, oh, that's pretty good. But the fact that they're like, hey, this is the next Star Wars movie and had it in theaters is kind of like, oh,
I will say
really.
I consumed it on Netflix while starting the Clone Wars series. So yeah.
Yeah, I just watched it on Netflix too, and it was fine, but like considering it like a Star Wars movie is not.
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Pat, where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at JesterPC, tweeting angrily at PC Gamer about spoiling games in their reviews. And you can find my website at gamingandconfidence.com.
Okay, and you can find all our podcasts at fix.space or on Facebook at the Gaming Fix on Facebook. Mash that like button, subscribe, comment, tell your friends. Please tell your friends. yeah, and have a nice day
And week.
or evening or have a nice life. If you don't come back, you know, I still want you to be happy. Unless you suck, then you suck, and I want you to continue to suck. No, you know what? I don't want you to suck. I want you to stop sucking. All about positivity here on Gaming Fix. Except my computer. Worked last night. What the fuck? Yeah, okay. That's gonna do it for us. So long, everybody.
All right, bye, everybody.
Goodbye.
Bye.